lovers, it is G-Swiss here, and I'm here today to talk about the books that I want to read in September. Yes, you read the title right. This TBR is going to be a savage one. And that is not just a play on words based on the books that I've chosen for this month, but I've chosen a good amount of books this month. Now with my August TBR, I had a few books that completed a few challenges, and yes, September will be the same in that aspect. However, in the month of September, there are a few other reading goals and challenges that I've wanted to personally accomplish. One of them has to do with my series TBR for 2023. I also have a goal to complete a book / companion series before next month. There's also a book on this TBR that I would like to get to before next month because I'm wanting to read it in the lead up to doing a recommendation video for October. I also have some manga on this TBR, pretty much going back to my manga roots. No, not all of this TBR falls under the theme of Savage September, but I am giving the name Savage September to this video / this month because in order to motivate myself to get to some longer and dense series, I have to use some sort of play on words in order to motivate myself. You know, the War of Lost Hearts for August. It worked for Wargust. So I'm really hoping that Savage September works for me. Anyway, I guess without further ado, let's get straight into discussing the books that I want to get to during September in the hopes that I will accomplish them. First and foremost, I want to see if I can complete my 12 Friends Recommend Me 12 Books challenge in the month of September. If not, then it could happen in October. And the reason why I think this is achievable is because I only have 2 book picks left, and one of them is a single volume of manga. I definitely reckon that I can accomplish that single volume of manga. However, before I get to that title, I must read The Goblin Emperor first. And The Goblin Emperor was actually recommended to me by one of my closest bookish friends, so I am hoping that this book is like really good. I kind of trust that it is going to be good. I mean, with this 12 Friends Recommend Me 12 Books challenge, there have definitely been some hits and misses. I mean, yes, some of my friends and colleagues I will approach for more recommendations, and some I will just, you know, peacefully declined. But I'm really hoping that The Goblin Emperor impresses me because Allison has recommended me some books previously and I've loved them. I do constantly gush to her about the books that we love, so I kind of trust her recommendation here. Prior to asking for recommendations for this TBR, I had never heard about this book before and I know nothing about it at the moment. So I'm just hoping that it impresses. I barely know anything about it. I just know that it is a favorite of many and that it's a classic fantasy, or I mean maybe a modern classic. I really don't know anything about it, honestly, but I hope that it surprises me because I just want a good read. I want to finish this challenge off strong, and I'm hoping that The Goblin Emperor will be a strong choice and potentially a new favorite. And if / when I complete The Goblin Emperor, I will move on to the final recommendation for the 12 Friends Recommend Me 12 Books challenge, and that was a recommendation from my husband. He recommended I read Inuyasha Volume 1. I am holding up Bind Up 1 because the editions that we've been collecting have been bind ups, so I technically only have to read a third of this in order to achieve this goal. This is a 3-in-1 edition, and I believe that it would be like around 200 pages, pretty much the standard tankobon volume size. So I cannot wait to read this. I've heard great things about Inuyasha. I never grew up with Inuyasha. I have friends who love Inuyasha and grew up with it and feel nostalgic every single time they hear Inuyasha mentioned. I even purchased coupons for Inuyasha because they were absolutely cute. I'm like in love. Like, look how cute they are. They're so cute. And I decided I wanted to purchase these. I have not yet read Inuyasha, but every single time I show someone a picture of my bookshelf, they're like, oh my god, Inuyasha. I'm like, oh, that's nice. I just purchased these because they looked cute. And Camilo likes Inuyasha. I never grew up with Inuyasha. I just wanted to surprise him as well. And I'm not gonna lie, I've started to feel the FOMO because I'm hearing from almost every fan of this series or just manga and anime in general that this is one of the top tier shonen series out there. So that is one good reason to get into it, but also I'm hearing that the romance is chef's kiss perfection, which is another reason why I really want to get invested in Inuyasha. So I'm hoping to get invested, but it all starts with the first volume. So I'm going to read the first volume upon Camilo's request. I'm hoping this will be good, but I've saved this till last because I know that this is going to be the easiest one for me to achieve. So I've made the personal decision to not get to Inuyasha Volume 1 until until I read the Goblin Emperor. I'm hoping I get to both of them and I complete the 12 Friends Recommend Me 12 Books challenge, and I can just get that out of the way, because oh my goodness, as much as I have been enjoying this challenge, it has been weighing me down just a little bit. And the next thing I would like to read in the month of September is Sakamoto Days Volume 9. I may as well make September Sakamoto September as well. But I guess Sakamoto Days goes very well with Savage September because there's a lot of action in this series, and at times it gets pretty savage. Volume 9 I've really been looking forward to. I am really enjoying this series. It is definitely one of those series that I would recommend to those who love Spy Family and Way of the House Husband, except it has much more action. And if you like John Wick but like with more humor, then Sakamoto Days is also for you. I just remember recently recommending this to a friend and he immediately put it on his TBR. He's like, yes, I need to read it. Like, as soon as I described what Sakamoto Days was about, he immediately took interest in it and he was like, you know what, I've got to read it, like, immediately. And honestly, I'm so glad about that because I want the love for Sakamoto Days to spread like wildfire. It's one of those series that definitely deserves the hype, and I can't wait to continue on with it. So I've put volume 9 on my TBR in the hopes that I will get to it this month. And that's not all the manga love that I have planned for September. I also want to get to The Way of the House Husband volume 10. I just love this series because it's just pure fun in a nutshell. It is a great palette cleanser for any of the heavy reads that I have on my TBR that I want to get to during the month. It's like the perfect escape for me. These covers make me laugh so much. Like, as soon as I saw this cover, I immediately just started laughing out loud so bad. I really love having it in the comfort of my own home. Like, every single time I just want to laugh, I just pick up a volume and just read a chapter. I often go to the first chapter of the second volume. That one makes me laugh, where he's in the middle of doing an exercise class. That is my ultimate comfort chapter of Way of the House Husband. But anyway, I'm just looking forward to reading another volume of Way of the House Husband because it's just a fun series. And this next book I've purely put on my September TBR because I just need to complete this series. I mean, I don't need to, but I want to for the sake of completing something. Because for some reason, I feel like reading the soulmate equation with the intention of getting to the true love experiment but not getting to the true love experiment just doesn't really feel complete. So I read the soulmate equation back in July. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. It wasn't my favorite Christina Lauren novel, and I expected more from it. It just felt more analytical than it felt romantic, you know? Whereas with the True Love Experiment, I've heard that this is a great romance novel, but I'm kind of a little bit turned off because I didn't love the soulmate equation that much. So I'm really hoping that this book happens to be good. I honestly don't know how I'm going to feel about the True Love Experiment, but for some reason I feel the need to get to it because I kind of need to give the soulmate equation companion series a second chance, even though they aren't technically completely related to each other according to everyone. It's just the True Love Experiment follows a side character in the soulmate equation. I kind of wanted to follow her story, but I wasn't motivated to, so I'm hoping to get to it this month. I'm hoping that this will be a good palette cleansing read for me because some of the books on this TBR might just be intense. The next book I would like to get to in the month of September is Go Hex Yourself by Jessica Clare. I literally got this because I love the cover. I was so drawn to the cover, and I also very much appreciate cozy paranormal stories, so I decided I wanted to add this book to my collection. I also want to specifically read it in September because I'm planning some content for October surrounding some paranormal reads, inclusive of some cozy paranormal reads as well, and I'm very much looking forward to that. So I'm hoping to read this in the lead up to October to see whether or not I would recommend this one and I would add it to one of those recommendation videos. That is pretty much the overview. I'm really hoping I enjoy this one and that this cover buy was worth it. And the next book I would like to read in the month of September is a book that I am planning to read for a Pop Sugar Reading Challenge prompt, and that is to read a book that was inspired by a film. And I honestly don't know about anyone else, like if anyone else noticed, if you are participating in the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, if you went onto the Goodreads lists and noticed that there were a bunch of fairy tale reimaginings on there as well. I just decided to choose something that was inspired by Snow White, A Taste of Poison. I mean, technically I could have chosen any fairy tale reimagining for this prompt as long as the fairy tale was adapted years ago and Snow White was one of the earlier ones. So I decided to choose A Taste of Poison because the Disney version of Snow White is the Snow White we all kind of know. So I think it's safe to say that A Taste of Poison works very well for this prompt. And I have been wanting to read this ever since it first came out. It came out sometime last year and I've been putting it off, and I think the reason why I've put it off is because I loved Heart of the Raven Prince. However, I wasn't the biggest fan of Kiss of the Selkie. And naturally, I have high expectations expectations for any book that I read by Tessandra Odette, so I decided to take a little bit of a break from this book series in the hopes that when I read A Taste of Poison, I will go into it with a fresh mindset. And I honestly think it's about time I get to it because I just need to stop putting it off. I still haven't even read A Dream So Wicked, which is the next book in the series. I don't even think I have that book in my collection. I've enjoyed the books in the series so far, and I love the book set within the Fair Isle trilogy world. So I am hoping, fingers crossed, I will get to A Taste of Poison this month to at least complete this Pop Sugar reading challenge. I am so close to completing this challenge altogether, so I'm hoping that I keep up the good work by reading A Taste of Poison. And the second last book slash series that I would like to get to in the month of September is The Savage and the Swan by Ella Fields, which definitely goes very well with Savage September. And the reason why I'm calling Savage September is gonna be revealed after this. However, I decided that this month might also be appropriate for me to read The Savage and the Swan because it also goes very well with the theme of Savage September, but also I just want to read another book by Ella Fields because I loved Kingdom of Villains. I happened to read Kingdom of Villains before meeting Ella Fields this year at Rare 2023, and I got this book signed by her. It says Grace, and her silver Sharpie is on top of the book title. And I have actually heard great things about The Savage and the Swan, and funnily enough, The Savage and the Swan was the first book I ever heard about from Ella Fields, and it is very much hyped. So I'm looking forward to getting to it. I have managed expectations, but based on my love and enjoyment for Kingdom of Villains, I reckon I am going to really love this one. I kind of know nothing about it except that there's fae and that it's really good, according to everyone who loves fantasy romance and loves Ella Fields. So fingers crossed I get to this one this month. I am definitely aiming for it, and maybe this might just be a good transition into the next series that I want to get to in September. Okay everyone, I'm finally going to do it, and if I don't do it, I'm gonna be so mad at myself. The reason why I'm making Savage September a thing is because I need to get to the Savage Land series by Stacey Marie Brown. This is a 6-book series that concluded, I believe, sometime early last year or late the year before, and I have wanted to read the series for around 2 to 3 years now. It was one of the first fantasy romance series that I really wanted to get into when I was getting into fantasy romance and when I was discovering new independently published authors. I so desperately wanted the Savage Land series. I wanted every book box to do some sort of special edition set for it, and I wanted to get these hardbacks. I finally granted my wish and got these hardbacks last year during my tax return. Yes, guys. I've had these books on my shelves for over a year now, and I haven't made it happen. I've not made this happen. I've not yet read this book series. I have been collecting the Arcane Society exclusive editions of this book series. I was tempted to get the Bookish Box special editions. I did not, but I still am close to having a second set complete for the Savage Land series, and I still have not yet read this 6-book series. And you know what frustrates me even more? The love interest in this book series is modeled after my celebrity crush, Jason Momoa. And yeah, I've been excited about it. But you know why I've been avoiding my reading experience of the series? It's because I'm so intimidated by these books. They have to be good. But that all being said, I cannot fully expect them to be my favorite book series of the year because I kind of feel like I've read my favorite book series of the year already, but I'm expecting this to be in my top 5. And if it's not in my top 5, I will be devastated. And look, if I happen to read so many other great book series, then okay. It has to be in my top 10 though. My expectations for the Savage Land series, it's pretty high. I am theming an entire reading month after Savage Lands. I mean, The Savage and the Swan, yes, and the rest of my TBR seems to be pretty savage because, oh my goodness, it's massive. But this right here, it's adding a significant amount to my TBR. Not just physically, but maybe also mentally and emotionally. So, I'll see you guys on the other side. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. If you happen to stay to the end of the video, leave me the green heart emoji and wish me luck for the Savage Land series if you can, because I just hope that it's really good and that I am not setting myself up for disappointment. If you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Join the amazing community of book lovers. And also, I have social medias. I'm at GSwizzleBooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also at Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/gswizzle. And finally, I'm at TikTok. I'm at GSwizzle on TikTok if you want to follow me there for some bookish content. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.
Started out with half and I flipped it in a double. Started out with half and I flipped it into double.